My advice to men is to secure residual food and shelter. What you want to do as a man, regardless of your intentions with women or what you want to do with your life long term, secure residual food and shelter. Understand what your basic needs are. Understand what it means to survive out here in the world. So, understand your food, understand your shelter, and understand what that means long term for you through the rest of your life. So, as a man, you want to secure residual food and shelter before you worry about anything else, whether that's your family, your friends, your relationships with women or coworkers, people you went to school with. What you want to do is you want to understand what it means to eat long term, what it means to have somewhere to live long term. So you want to understand the basics of those things. When it comes to residuals, as a man or as a woman, you have to understand what you're doing long term to provide. So as a man, we have the tendency sometimes as the masculine versus the feminine. So the masculine is seen as the provider. The masculine is seen as who holds down the job, the breadwinner, the one with the resources. So with that, in today's economy in the United States, it takes a man a little bit to get going in terms of his resources and his status with all of that. So as a man, he might not be until he's like in his 30s before that becomes a reality in terms of residual income for food and shelter and providing. But with the woman, she's in her physical prime in her late teens and her early 20s. And so as she gets older, her timeline is different than the man's timeline when all of that plays out. So when it comes to these concepts, as a man, you just got to understand that you have time to do things. You have time to grow. You have time to build into whatever you want to build into. So I'm selling tie-dye for this nonprofit in San Diego, and I sell at La Jolla Cove, Children's Pool, Pacific Beach in San Diego, the San Diego Zoo, and downtown locations. And when I sell tie-dye, I'm selling for an organization, and a lot of people will come up and tell me, well, why don't you do something independent? Why don't you do something that pays you rather than you working for an organization? Which I agree, independent is the way to go. But you got to understand where someone is in their life. And so I'm 26 right now, and I'm working for this organization in San Diego, and it's amazing. And I love it. I love the work here. But when it comes to people paying me independent or Patreon or things that I want to do, it takes time to do that. So the best way I can describe it with creating a Patreon the other day for what I'm doing on this YouTube is I sell tie-dye clothes all around San Diego. Short sleeve tie-dyes with the sales tax is 20 for a short sleeve, 25 for a long sleeve. We have solid color shirts for 13 for a short sleeve and 22 for a long sleeve. Hoodies, which are we have kids and adults hoodies. We have tank tops for adults and dresses for adults and girls. And so we have different prices for different ranges and different items. But when it comes to charging something, it's like I can charge whatever I want on Patreon. People don't understand when I talk about a Patreon, if people are already coming up to me in San Diego and giving me $20 for a short sleeve tie-dye shirt or $25 for a long sleeve tie-dye shirt, I'm charging Patreon. My bronze tier is $5 a month, my silver tier is $15 a month, and my gold tier is $30 a month. And I level up the rewards from there. So $5 for the bronze, I just have a general support in terms of supporting what I'm doing, giving me the ability to do this long term and all of that. $15 a month for the silver, I offer exclusive content. So I'm still going to do content like I do on YouTube, and I don't intend for anyone to pay me like I do the tie-dye sales. Anyone can pay me, anyone cannot pay me. But when it comes to monthly patronage, it doesn't matter. I'm going to put whatever I want to put on YouTube, and I'm not trying to charge for that in terms of like anyone who got something from the content or anyone who thought it was beneficial. I'm not going to just charge for that up front. I'm gonna keep putting out free YouTube content. I'm gonna keep putting out free content because that's just what I want to do, and I think that's the right way to do it. But if someone wants to give me money, in addition to that, that is something that I have earned up to this point in terms of what I've been doing. So the bronze tier I have as a general patronage, $5 a month. $15 a month for the silver patronage, which is exclusive footage and content behind the scenes where I film these episodes and these videos of my podcast and of the vlogs I do. I just do it around San Diego. So I have some other footage where I'm doing a video that didn't get published, or someone interrupted me, like a customer or a person for whatever reason. And I have a bunch of other footage that I put on my Patreon that for silver and gold patrons for it. And that's just something that I choose to offer. And it's like anybody, like if I know a friend from grade school, I grew up with a lot of people from, whether it's preschool, kindergarten, grade school, middle school, junior high, high school, college, and so on. I'm a friendly person, and I meet a lot of people, and I respect what people do in terms of their means of survival. So if I meet someone from preschool who say he owns like a mechanic company, say he's always worked on cars, and in his 20s now, me being 26, say he's 26, and we grew up together. What if he's like working on cars? What if he starts his own Patreon where he just works on cars for $30 a month? And he's like your personal car assistant because he knows cars. So anything you need done on that car, he just charges $30 a month. And with what some people spend on a car, that's a very great deal for a guy that knows his cars. So Patreon can be good for anything: entrepreneurship, business, artists, musicians, entrepreneurs, just anybody that has something going out there. You can put a Patreon and you can create different tiers. And for me, it's not like someone needs to pledge to a certain tier. I'm just saying that at a certain point, you charge for certain things based on what other people think you're worth. And like if I knew someone that I grew up with that's working on cars, like I said, he starts a Patreon or he becomes an auto mechanic, why should he not charge what he wants to charge for what he thinks he's worth? Like say I know a mechanic, he's doing that, and I haven't seen him in 10 years. I'm 26 now. I haven't seen him since I'm 16. He can charge whatever he wants for auto maintenance. I've taken my car to different places other than him. You know, I could have paid him over the last 10 years. So he can charge whatever he wants. That's the point of this. Like, he can charge what he wants because that's the product and the service that he's doing. That's what he's offering. That's what he says. You know, people get into this mindset where they'll know someone personally, and the person will be bodybuilding and building a bunch of muscle, and maybe goes into competitions or uses that to their advantage for money or whatever. And they're all like, that guy got arrogant. That guy too into himself. You know, he probably has that truck because he has a small dick. That's why he lifts a lot of weights. Why he bodybuilds. Why he has that truck. But it's just like, sometimes it's like, dude, you don't lift yourself. You don't eat healthy yourself. Maybe that guy built a career off it, and that's just like your stance on it. You know, so that's that a lot of times too with people that they don't understand that they're like watching a movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, but it's just like a bodybuilder that they know, and they just don't get it because the person's doing something that's creative, that's outside their box of thinking, and they don't understand it. So when it comes to Patreon and what I want to do with this, it's just if people want to pay it. It's if people just feel that I'm worth that. That's just what I'm charging based on what I am in this point. Like, someone should charge whatever they want to charge in terms of the extra content. Like, I'm going to keep putting out videos on YouTube. I'm going to keep putting out stuff long term every single day. When it comes to this video, in terms of securing your food and your shelter, you got to understand that long term. You got to understand long term in terms of you having food to eat and you having somewhere to live. That's what you need to strive for as a man, regardless of whether you go your own way with MGTOW or your red pill and or you're into pickup artistry, or whether you're even blue pill. I mean, wherever you are on the manosphere and where you're finding these concepts, I'm just saying, secure yourself as a man, food and shelter, secure that first. That's the first thing you need to do. How you're eating, where you're living, and your relationship with women falls after that. So for me right now, doing some modeling in San Diego, I sell with this nonprofit in San Diego for this tie dye. I take that seriously. My YouTube channel, my Patreon, those are things I take seriously because food and shelter residually long term. That's what it's about. And you want to inspire people. You want to convince people that that's the mission that you're on, and that's the that's the key. No matter who you are, it's the residual food, the residual income, the residual resources. It's the food, the shelter. It's like the residual basic needs, and then after that, you have a little bit more options. You have a little bit more choice and leverage when it comes to women because you've already secured what's actually important.